All right, of the underworld, what's on the other side of the flat earth? I just want to say this real quick. I really appreciate all supporters out there and people who are watching my videos. For everyone who's leaving negative comments, I really don't have time. I'm not here for your entertainment. You don't have to watch my videos. You can totally ignore it. If I'm such an ignorant person, I'm so stupid, just ignore it. Go watch something intelligent. You got the NASA channel. You have all the good stuff on TV. You don't need to watch what I'm talking about. If I'm so wrong, right? So something's drawing you back. All right, now let's deal with the sea levels. Okay, so sea levels, these are the sea levels online. And the green arrow, all of these, each arrow shows you the different level of water. But now stop and think about that. How can water, if you're on a sea, here, let's go back. Let's take a look, right? Because if this is the sea levels that we're on, that we have here, shouldn't the level flatten out? Shouldn't it level out? So like, if you look at a cup of water, right? And just look at a cup of water. The cup of water levels out. It flattens out. Like, for instance, right here. So how is it that the sea level, how can it be higher on one side and lower on the other on a ball? Or even on a flat earth? Okay, so like if we go over here, let's take a look. All right, so we go over here. Now this cruise boat is on a leveled, the sea is leveled. Okay. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit here. Okay, see, everything's leveled here. And explain to me, how can it be higher on one side and lower on the other? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So that would be like if you're right here and you're looking at this cruise boat and this water is just somehow, there's a hill in the water. That doesn't make sense. Okay, so now let's deal with energy, because I want to talk about fossil fuels, because we already know oil doesn't come from no damn fossils. Okay, now this is what they really do, and we're talking about nuclear energy here. There is no such thing as nuclear energy. It doesn't exist, and we're going to deal with that, because if you go down here and you look, what they do is they get their energy from oil. They dig down in the hole, they drill the oil, it comes up, and it goes to a plant. They ship the oil to these facilities, which they convert it into electricity. Now, if we look here, right, the red is sending the energy out. Okay, so let's take a look. It's sending the energy out, and it comes through, and it goes to different various places. So now follow along with me here, because I'm about to, let me turn this down. Follow along with me here. All right. If this city is consuming, let's say, for example, 100 watts, okay, and on a daily basis, and let's say for whatever reason, there's a football game in the stadium, they have to increase the electricity, right? But they really don't know how much to increase it, because they don't know how many microwaves they're going to be using, how many coffee pots, how much, everything fluctuates. Now, if they have too much electricity coming in, you have something called, let's go down here, let's take a look. Let's get rid of that. You have something called a power surge. So a power outage is when there's not enough electricity, and a power surge is when there's too much electricity. Okay, so when there's too much electricity, what they end up doing is, if they're sending too much electricity to this city, right, after the football game is over, let's say, for instance, that electricity now comes back. Let's move over here. Let's zoom out. Okay, let's move over here. Let's take a look. Now, if this electricity here to the city, to this football stadium, if there's too much electricity, it gets sent back to here. It goes up into this, see, because it says surplus right here. So this is going in. The red is going out. The black pipe, the black electric line is going back, and it's sending the power up into this station here, which then puts it in, they store it, and they charge you for a nuclear energy. Okay, because if nuclear energy was so potent, if it was so strong, it would have replaced oil already. It hasn't. Okay, so let's go back here. So this causes an extremely large power surge that will overpower almost any surge protector. So too much electricity going to a city, that electricity has to go somewhere, so it gets sent back. And then they charge you for nuclear, or the city for nuclear energy. So, and then under the threat of terrorism, nobody's allowed to go in and see. So you don't even know if there's actually nuclear rods or nuclear generators there. You wouldn't even know. Okay, so let's take a look at a nuclear reactor. It says nuclear power has reliable and economically contributed almost 20% of electrical generation in the United States over the past 2 decades. So if nuclear energy, which supposedly comes, they're almost creating the power of the sun. If it was that powerful, this would be more like 90%. It would be like 90% of all electrical energy, but it isn't. Why not? So again, there is no nuclear energy, and if there was, you couldn't prove it. And here we go with the nuclear submarine, because I know a lot of people are going to come with that. Current generations of nuclear submarines have never needed to be refueled throughout their 25-year lifespan. Conversely, the limited power stored in electrical batteries mean that the most advanced conventional submarine can only remain submerged for a few days at a slow speed and only a few hours at top speed. Recent advances in air-independent propulsion had eroded this disadvantage somewhat. So, a nuclear submarine only stays underwater for a few days. Okay, so they're telling you that with all this technology, if nuclear technology is supposedly what it is, how come we don't see any proof of it? Where's the proof? Okay, and I know a lot of you guys are going to say, well, there's proof of it and not. Now let's watch this video, because I also want to talk about dinosaurs. Let's watch. Okay, let's see if this thing ever starts, right? So here we go. Let's see what she's saying.
So my question has always been, well, how do these fossils get preserved in this ancient ocean? Plesiosaurs and mosasaurs, these giant marine reptiles, can't be that unlike whales. So I'm imagining these carcasses falling on the bottom of the seafloor. How do they get preserved in the rock record?
Yeah, let's find out.
So we can do all kinds of things like you see on the right. So imagine this big marine reptile. It's falling to the seafloor. Somehow its head is heavier, and so that's sinking to the bottom of the seafloor. The skull kind of starts to dig into the sediment a little bit harder because it's heavier. You've got sharks scavenging on it. Then as you go further, all the soft tissue ends up being decayed, but you have things that are starting to grow on the rib cage because it's a great it's a great surface for things to grow on. And then eventually the rib cage falls open, it collapses open as the decay happens farther, and you have more things growing on it that eventually becomes buried.
All right, so supposedly, oh man, I don't know how these people know this, because you can't. All right, hold on. Let's continue to watch it, because we have to get all of this stuff pieced together, because they're saying that
formed from the fossilized remains of prehistoric plants and animals. Most of the fossil fuels we use today were formed from organisms alive millions of years before the first dinosaurs.
How do they know that?
But how do these remains form powerful energy resources? Plants absorb the sun's energy and convert this to usable energy through a biological process called
And why do they always get a guy who sounds intelligent? I mean, it always it's like this old guy with glasses. He has a certain English accent. They make him sound intelligent.
Photosynthesis. When plants and animals die, they're broken down or decomposed by microorganisms.
Whoa, hold on. So you're telling me all this oil here is from dead animals and plants? And then somehow these fossils down here, right? If the fossils are, all right, let me get this straight. If the animals die and they sink way under into this rock here and they become oil, how the hell do they remain fossils at the very top? That doesn't make sense. See, they're contradicting themselves. And so again, all of this is total BS. I mean, you know, and now they're talking about there's an asteroid, and this one I'm going to deal with in the next video. They're talking about an asteroid coming, and it'll be visible from Earth on Monday, and you'll be able to see it with strong binoculars. Look at that. So we'll be able to get our binoculars out and see this asteroid that's going to kill us all. You know, it, oh man, again, this underworld here, this is where you're going to go if you have a negative mindset. And you're going to go up to the stars if you have a positive one. That's just how the system works. I mean, that's the world we live in. And so there are no other worlds. They never talked about other worlds in no ancient religion. These worlds they're talking about is this world that we live in. Okay, and when they use the word world, you got to be careful because you got to know what they're talking about. So I just want to leave it on that. I'm probably going to make a part 3 of this because there's so much I tried to squeeze into this one video. And, I have a very unconventional way. I kind of jump around, but that's just my style. I stay in my own lane. So, but for all you guys who have negative comments, just don't watch it. There's always something intelligent to watch on TV. All right, peace.